Right, so today's discussion topic is hydrological cycle, a very familiar topic and also very simple to understand. So first we need to understand the meaning. What does it mean? What is the meaning of this hydrological cycle? This cycle is also known as a water cycle, and since it is cycle, right, so it is continuous process, right? That's why the term cycle has been used. You people are using cycle is a closed loop, right? And if it is closed, you don't know where to start, where to end, so it is a continuous, right? It is a continuous cycle, so the continuous process, that's why it is called cycle. So the meaning of hydrological cycle is origin and distribution of water, right? Origin and distribution of water on the globe. Globe means on the whole earth. Origin and distribution, it means from where it has to start and how the things has to be allocated to different part of globe, right? And the simple meaning of this hydrological cycle is we have to understand only the movement of water on the earth, how this amount of water that has to be moved from one place to other place, and how we are getting the water on the earth. So this is the meaning of hydrological cycle. Again, I am repeating the simple meaning of this hydrological cycle, which is also known as water cycle, is movement of water on the earth, right? And this cycle is very much related with the origin and distribution of water around the globe, and it is very complex pathway, right? As because it is written origin and distribution, it means it has to start from somewhere, then it has to move to the other place, so it has to follow certain path. So the path is bit complex because this pathway include the passage of water from one stage to another. One stage means from gaseous stage, right? Gaseous stage is there into the atmosphere. From gaseous to again it can is come to this in form of liquid to the ocean, water, river. So that's why it is a complex pathway. So this hydrological cycle basically relates with the origin and distribution of water, and having a pathway where water has to change its form, right? It's changed from the gaseous, then because of some atmospheric phenomena, we again this gaseous turns into this water molecule, and that has to be fall on the ground in certain form. The form may be rainfall, form may be snowfall, or form of some other kind of form we are able to get that. So there are certain pathway need to be followed here. So that is the meaning of hydrological cycle, right? So these are the process that has to be there for hydrological cycle. So this hydrological cycle, as I told you, is a pathway, certain pathways there. So there are certain process has to be there with this hydrological cycle. So we can easily see that this is the process: evaporation, transpiration, then condensation, precipitation, interception, infiltration, percolation, runoff, and storage. So I like to explain all these process one by one. So let's start with this evaporation. So first, evaporation and transpiration. Reason for that is sun heat. Because of sun heat, there is evaporation and transpiration. Evaporation, you all know that when this water molecule turns into the gaseous condition, right? So that is evaporation and transpiration from the plant itself. So let me again make it clear. So evaporation, so you can just look at here, this is just one representation. We have a sun, so sun heat is to be given to the water molecule. So water molecule, right? So water turns into the vapor, and then vapor heads for the sky, then move to the sky. Why it is supposed to move to the sky? Because water vapor, when water evaporates, it's lighter than the air, so it has to move upwards toward the sky. That is evaporation. So because of sun heat, again I am explaining, this liquid form of water turns into the gaseous form. As gaseous form of water is lighter than the air, so it has to move upwards towards the sky, right? That is evaporation, right? And these are the things where the evaporation will occur. Obviously it may be lakes, it may be any kind of water surface, right? That as you have witnessed, that you have seen around you, it is a small pond uh, or a small river, any kind of what I'm saying, water channel, whatever the thing is there, evaporation has to takes place there because of sun's heat, right? Then you have a transpiration. So transpiration is same sweat, right? As we sweat, we are releasing water. Similarly, the plant has to there. So when sun heat is there on the plant, so plant has to sweat, and that is supposed to release certain water, right? And then that water has to vapor. That water turns into the vapor and supposed to move towards the sky. So that is transpiration, right? So this is the only difference between evaporation and transpiration. When all this process has to happen in this any water bodies, that is evaporation, but the similar things has to happen to for the plant, that is transpiration, right? So you can easily understand that by the statement, plant obviously require the water from the soil to make all this food and to survive itself, right? So what will happen? So extra travels through the plant and to its leaves also. So when there is a sun heat will be there, the extra water has to evaporate. So that is called transpiration. As you look into the image itself, there is a leaf, so water droplet is there, and when sun heat will be there, that has to be evaporate, and the process is called transpiration. This is the only difference between evaporation and transpiration. It means when water turns into gaseous form of any the or through any water surface, that is evaporation. But if the same event has happened to this plant, that is called transpiration. You all are very much familiar with all these things here, right? Then condensation, so it is just opposite of evaporation, right? It means now water vapor convert into the uh, water. See, in evaporation, water has to convert to the vapor form. It means gaseous form, from liquid to gaseous. Now through the condensation, from gaseous to liquid. So it is just opposite of evaporation. So condensation has to be takes place after that, right? And then the precipitation has to happen after the condensation. Precipitation will be there. Why the precipitation? Why this precipitation is there? So through the image you can easily understand. Some things are just too heavy to hold, right? So if it is too heavy to hold, you are supposed to release it, isn't it? If you have certain weight on your mind, and if it is becomes too heavy, obviously you are supposed to release it. So similarly, the same kind of things has to happen. So we have a precipitation now because of this evaporation transpiration, the water this vapor has to move towards the sky. Then they have condensed itself, and when condensed water becomes so heavy that atmosphere is unable to hold it, so it has to release it. So when it is going to release that water, so that is known as precipitation. So rainfall is one of the type of precipitation, right? So that is precipitation. The simple meaning of that is that, and these are the form of precipitation. We have a rain, we have a snow, we have a hail, we have a sleet, right? So these all are precipitation, where the vaporized water molecule, when it's move upwards, and because of the low temperature it get condensed, and because of this condensation, right, now it's become too heavy for atmosphere to hold on. So now atmosphere has to release it. So it has to release in several forms. The form will be rain, snow, hail, or sleet, right? So this is called precipitation. So rainfall is one type of precipitation, you can say that, because generally students are using rainfall and precipitation in a synonymous form. It's not a synonymous. Rain is one of the form of precipitation, right? So obviously after precipitation, what will happen? The water has to collect in the ground or on the ground in forms of river, stream, lake, ponds, and ocean. Obviously after precipitation, it has to be stored somewhere, right? So before moving to interception, is there any question up to this point? I have explained you what is hydrological cycle meaning. Then I have discussed with you all this process from evaporation to precipitation. So if you have any question from anyone up to this point, first you raise your question. Is there any question? Obviously, this topic is very much familiar up to this point, precipitation. Now, interception, let me explain with you. What is interception? Because there is no question up to that point. So, interception, that need to be understand here, and then you can understand the beauty of nature here. Fine. Okay. Some of you students from the plain area, some maybe the hilly area. So you have seen the vegetation, the different kind of vegetation. You have seen that, right? In the uh, hilly area, you will see the shape of vegetation is something like that, isn't it? Where in the plain, if you look for the plain, it will be something like that, right? Why is it so? Why the nature has this kind of arrangement? Have you ever thought of, any student, have you ever thought of why this kind of arrangement is there? Even the hilly area, when the those people are supposed to make a house, they are making the house in this way also, isn't it? Why? Because of climatic condition. Okay, good. So now we need to understand the concept behind this, right? And that is interception, right? Interception means you are interrupting the movement of precipitation or movement of water, right? That is interception. That is called interception. So let me explain you the things in a very simple way, one by one. See what happened. Let me first explain in the hilly areas part. Hill area, you will find the vegetation of this conical shape, right? So generally the hilly part, the top hill area, there is a snowfall. There is a snowfall, right? And just take example, if it is not conical and if it is flat, then what will happen? Snow will deposit here, and because of weight, right, it may rupture or the tree may fall down. So that's because of that nature has created this kind of things to intercept the movement of snow, right? So it is slopy, right? So if the snowfall will be there, it has to slide down rather than staying on the surface. So so whatever with the amount of rain, snowfall is there in the hilly area, right, still the vegetations are intact there, isn't it? Now go for this plain part, plain area. You will find this kind of vegetation, right? Why it is so? So because in the plain area mostly rainfall has to be occur, and you people already studied in your soil science the erosion process. Erosion, I hope you have studied that. Soil erosion basically I'm talking about, how this splash erosion convert into the complete. So what is splash? Splash means when the rainfall has directly hit the ground. If it's supposed to hit the ground, so you can imagine the velocity at which it has to fall. Since you people already studied physics, right? If something is free fall from certain height, right? So you know the velocity. What is the free fall velocity? It is obviously it will be under root 2 gh. I hope you all have remembered that. You just passed the 10 plus 2, right? So this is the velocity a water molecule should have. So height is velocity depend upon the height. So you can imagine. So what is the height from where the water for, so rainfall will be there. So if at that height it will get more velocity, and when that velocity is supposed to hit the ground, obviously erosion will take place, and it is very difficult to control it. So that's why the vegetation in the plain area has to act as an interceptor. Okay, when it fall on this, it has to reduce its velocity, that is interception, because it is interrupting the movement of water, right? This leaf structure, the branch, everything is going to interrupt the movement of water. As you look at this image there, canopy interception, isn't it? So since you have already seen that the tree has a canopy structure, layered structure is there. So when the rainfall is strike on the top part, then it's come to this next layer, last layer, and one, two, layer by layer. So by the time it reaches to the ground, the velocity is almost minimal, so there is no loss of either the vegetation or no loss of or not any kind of erosion will be there. So this is also part of a process under this hydrological cycle interception. I hope you all have get that interception now, and you also understand the concept behind this. Is it clear to all of you? Is there any question from anyone? So now we go for the infiltration. Again, go back to the concept that you have already studied during your what I'm saying during your soil science infiltration. You have studied that. So what is the meaning of infiltration? So the meaning of infiltration is when there is a movement of water through the boundary area where it will interface with the soil. This is the first layer when uh, uh, yes, right? So infiltration, you need to understand that infiltration means we have water, sorry, we have the soil surface, right? And if there is a rainfall on there, and if area is not saturated, so what will happen? It will be absorbed by the soil itself, right? So when it's crossed this interface, that is called infiltration, that is known as infiltration. So that's why this boundary area has been there. Again, go through this definition. Physical process involves movement of water through the boundary area where atmosphere interferes with the soil. So as I explain you here, isn't it? Right? Isn't it? It is the soil area. So above this is atmosphere. Up to this point we have atmosphere. So this is a boundary area between atmosphere with the soil. So when there is a rainfall, and as I told you, if the area is not saturated, right, so the soil has to absorb the water. So this process is infiltration. Is it clear? That is infiltration. And when water has to move after that towards some rocky part, that is called percolation. So first infiltration will be there. It means the water has to cross the upper part of soil, or together the boundary area, and after that when it's supposed to move towards this some other layer of soil horizon, so that is called percolation. And why the percolation takes place? So because of gravity and capillary forces, so percolation will takes place, right? So have you get the concept here, infiltration and percolation? Okay, Neha, you have asked the unsaturated area means okay. Uh, yeah, okay, now is the rainy season. Try to understand that rainy season. So if there is a very first day of rain, what will happen? If rain will be there for 1 hour, and after that, what the scene you have seen that you are unable to get any kind of water on the surface. It means that it is unsaturated. It means the area has a capacity to infiltrate. But if there is a continuous rainfall for 4 or 5 days, right? So what the result you are saying? You are finding some water on the surface also, on the ground, on the upper surface also you are getting a deposition of water, or the water has been stored. It means what? It means now the soil surfaces get totally saturated. It means there is no space has been there so that infiltration will takes place. You get that? So that is unsaturated area, saturated area I'm talking about. So if it is not saturated or unsaturated, then infiltration takes place. But if it is totally saturated, obviously you will get the surface water, right? And if infiltration will takes place or the percolation, so we will going to witness subsurface layer of water. Now I hope the concept is clear. Good. Now runoff. Runoff, right? So it is a flow from drainage basin in surface stream. So runoff means when the excess of water on the surface has to move from one place to other place, that is runoff. That is runoff. As I told you, when the areas get totally saturated, then what will happen? The water, you are able to see the amount of water on the surface, and then after that, if again more water will come, it was supposed to move from one place to other place. That is the simple understanding of runoff, right? That is the very simple meaning of runoff. And you can say something like that. It is a flow from drainage basin in surface stream. You know the drainage. If you already studied this term again, drainage means you have to make a certain path to remove excess of water, right? Excess of water has to be removed either from the field or any area, right? So when it's supposed to move, you have to make a certain stream, certain kind of path. So that is called runoff. So generally the hilly area you will get more and more runoff because of slopey condition. In plain the runoff is bit less, but even in the plain lots of obstacles are also there. But in the hills, if there is no vegetation at all, so you'll get very fast runoff there. And most of the hilly state in India now facing this kind of condition because of the reduction of vegetation, and because of this runoff, every day you are hearing all this kind of news. Certain kind of hills has been broken off from here and there, and certain losses, suddenly excess of water come into the river, isn't it? So because of that, it means the flow from drainage basin into the surface streams. And I'll also detail you because there is one complete topic of runoff in your syllabus also there. But today I'm discussing the hydrological cycle, so that's why giving the brief introduction. But when I'm going to discuss this whole topic runoff, so some more concept I'll elaborate there. Then we have a storage. After that, storage will be there. So there are three places of storage. In the atmosphere it can store, earth surface, or in the ground. So when there precipitation will be there, so we can store the water in this form. In the atmosphere means humidity is there, moisture condition of atmosphere, isn't it? So the storage will be there. Then on the earth surface, you know that we have a ocean, we have a lake, we have a reservoir, glaciers are there. So on earth surface it can be there, and in the ground also. In the ground means underground storage of water, isn't it? Where there is if there is any crack of rocks or something will be there, so the water has to store there itself, right? So these are the process of all these hydrological cycle, where I have already told you hydrological cycle means what? It is basically origin to distribution. So origin, I have already explained you how the origin will takes place, right? And then the distribution is also discussed here, right? Yes, Leo, is there any question? You are raising your hands. And finally, if there is excess of water, or you can see that distribution is not proper or uneven, so you can have this kind of phenomena, floods and droughts, right? If it is an excess of water, you will face a flood. If there is no water at all, this is droughts, and because of this uneven distribution. right? So distribution has to be here itself, right? So, and this is one pictorial representation of hydrological cycle where everything has been mentioned: infiltration, precipitation, snow melt, runoff. Let's look at the runoff. Then is the condensation, evaporation, evapotranspiration, plant uptake, and this is the hydrological cycle where, and this is in cycles, so it's a continuous process. It is very difficult to say where it starts, where it has to end. So it is a complete continuous process. That's why the term cycle has to be used here, right? So now this is all about the hydrologic cycle. So now if you have any question related to that, you people can ask. So is there any question?